So there's a urban legend about an arcade game that came out in the early 80s during the days of Zaxxon and Joust called Polybius. Apparently it played a little bit like Tempest, except that it bombarded the player with all these abstract geometric shapes, optical illusions, crazy color gradients, strobe lights, even subliminal messages, I guess, and along with this sort of diatonic droning soundtrack that puts players in a trance-like state, allegedly, like it was hypnotic or something. There's reports of people not knowing how much time passed when they played. After the fact, people reported having nightmares, or having this constant sense of being queasy or nauseous or paranoia, and for some reason that also drove them to continue wanting to play. That whole thing built the notoriety for this game, and apparently at the time it became this sort of like underground cult hit. Then one day, as the story goes, a bunch of government agents showed up to take all the Polybius cabinets out of the arcades, and it just disappeared forever. The theory is that it was some sort of like social experiment to, I guess, test if video games can manipulate the human psyche, or something, I don't know. But there's no actual evidence that this game ever existed, so it's probably just an urban legend. But within the wake of this creepypasta, a whole bunch of really cool fan-made games were created. And there's one I want to share with you. This game starts off with a series of disclaimers warning those who are epileptic or photosensitive to maybe not play, and click continue giving your consent. And you can't even click X to move on, you have to move the cursor to this specific spot and then click X, forcing you to actually read and pay attention to the user agreement. One thing off the bat I'd like to note is the polygonal theme of the art direction. It really feels like this evokes the early era of arcade wireframe 3D stylization in the vein of Tempest and the original Atari Star Wars game. That, along with the saturated neon colors illustrating a vibrant palette and checkerboard platforms. Checkerboard was often used in early 3D games to add an element of dimension and shape. Oh god, I think I'm gonna throw up. You can also see them using a technique called parallax to add dimension. That's an old trick Mode 7 style 2D games would use to give the illusion of 3 dimensions. It's where objects and enemies near the background would move side to side faster than those closer to the player. This gives the feeling that they are at a distance compared to the closer objects. This game also runs at 120 frames per second, which is just audacious. Your eyes can't even process that 120 frames per second. It's nuts. The game continues to get faster and faster as you get power-ups and go through the checkpoint hurdles, and it gets to the point where the speed is just intelligible. Your eyes end up trying to filter out the important stuff like the hurdles, pills, or obstacles, and whatever's in your direct path, as everything else just flies by in a blur. You only end up processing glimpses of the game, and what's on screen at any given second, you almost get the vibe that you're working on instinct, as opposed to planned direction. It's surreal. I think it really encapsulates the abstract and mind-boggling nature of the non-existent creepypasta game that presumed to exist in the 80s. This is entirely unique as far as I'm aware. An artistically ballsy move in my opinion. To purposely make a game that can make people uncomfortable and dizzy, unbalanced and potentially sick is art to me. An avant-garde against the grain video game that no AAA publisher would even consider. Oh, I'm gonna throw up.